Today, we are going to be talking about big feelings in little bodies and ours too. What preschoolers taught us about holding space for little people with big emotions. Erin, you have a little person that has big emotions.
Yes, yes, I do.
Uh,
Just a
did
minute ago, we had big emotions.
yes, huge. What can you tell us? Like, did anything working in childcare or teaching like prepare you for your own kid?
So
Like
one
when
of
it
the
comes to
big
emotions.
so one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout working with kids for so long and then having my own, no two child, yeah, is alike.
Right.
So they're all gonna process emotions differently and they're all gonna show their emotions differently.
Mhm.
And when you have all those multiple dynamics, you have to be able to really take what your thoughts and how you process it and throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Because these miniature humans, I think we forget sometimes as adults that they are still learning how to be human. Because even as an adult, when we try and process our own emotions, we have a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
So when we sit there and try and put that level of impact on a child, we forget they don't know. We have to teach them how to process these emotions.
Yeah. I agree. Um, and even if 2 kids seem super similar in, like, their personality type, and that doesn't mean they process their emotions the same way, um,
Exactly.
it's a matter of what's being done at home too. Like, if they
Yeah.
see mom and dad process their emotions by, like, shutting down or getting
Mhm.
angry, that can
Yes.
definitely impact.
And, working with so many different ages and all different levels and fields of teaching, you tend to see that a lot when parents get frustrated. You start to see the child act the same way. So how it's impacted like my parenting style is I try and be much more aware, and if I am feeling upset, I verbalize it. And one of the key phrases in my house is it's okay to be mad, but it is
Yeah,
not okay to be mean.
like that.
Thank you. So to be able to try to put those two differences together because it's like when it's like a book we used to read in the kindergarten class, Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
Ah, yes.
We, as adults and educators, we need to be able to teach children that it's okay to have a bad day. We have bad days. So why can't kids have bad days? It's especially like and you probably experienced this in with the littles, when they're having a bad day and you go to talk to the parents about it, they dispel it and they're like, no, my child would never do that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's okay. Our kid can have a bad day. It's
Right, yeah.
okay.
I do like the parents that are like, "Oh my god, thank you for the heads up. Now I know how the rest of the night's gonna go."
Yeah, exactly. There needs to be that open communication about it. But we forget that they are learning these emotions for the very first time.
Yeah.
Because even as an adult now, I bet both you and I can agree we have a hard time identifying how we feel sometimes.
Yeah.
And then putting that towards a child, like, yes, you're
That's
frustrating me.
yeah.
Like when my son was trying to battle me tonight, um, we we forget. So I think a lot of what it is as educators, we need to take that step back and to be able to teach that recognition of, okay, when we do get mad, what are some ways that we can get rid of it? Like with my son, one of the things that I say is, we're going to blow out the mad.
Oh,
So
I
it's
like that.
teaching him to take a deep breath.
Mhm.
And eventually, like, either I'll pick up my inflections with it or I start going super fast and he starts to laugh. But it's showing him that when we're mad, we can take those deep breaths. It's okay. But we're
When
not gonna throw and we're not gonna hit
right.
or when he got into headbutting a little bit, that was a fun time. But especially as I think boys, especially, we do need, as educators or parents, we need to be able to teach those negative emotions on how to regulate them.
Yeah,
So, yes, in my house, we blow out the mad.
I like that. I like that. My last class, all very, very into Elsa, especially Let It Go. And so if we got too mad, we would walk away from the group and I'd be like, "All right, we're gonna let it go." And they'd take a deep breath in and just scream, "Let it go" as loud as they could. Because you ask them to take deep breaths and they're like, you're like, "No, we gotta slow down."
No hyperventilation
Yeah,
today.
you're gonna give yourself a panic attack. Um, so we would just do stuff like that. Just breathe it in and scream, let it go, and we'll let go of the big emotions. But you were talking about how we have bad days. How do you feel about toxic positivity in early childhood education?
I can talk about that easily when I was going through my divorce and having to step inside a classroom. That was where you can't feel those negative emotions
No, they pick
because
up on it.
yes, they do, and they feed off of it.
Yeah,
But then also, it's not just the we're pausing for a second.
can't wait to cut this all out.
Okay, so back to back to what I was saying. I think some of the hardest moments of having that toxic positivity, not only going through a divorce and then working with kids and having to smile and be happy, but I think also I remember I was teaching this martial art class and I was holding a target and my boss, my instructor, my very close friend, we had that slight mental miscommunication, and he ended up throwing a kick as hard as he could and ending up dislocating 2 bones in
Ooh,
my thumb and also fracturing my thumb and my wrist. It was at the beginning of class, and guess what?
you went the rest of the day?
I went the rest of the time. There was no means of getting hurt. You smile, and he knew. He was like, as soon as everybody left that night, he goes, "Okay, this is gonna hurt." But all throughout that time, none of the kids knew, because since these kids look up to you, you have to be able to show, okay, well, sometimes we get hurt, but
We'll be okay.
we'll be okay. But there is a negative to that. And I noticed that with my son is that, when kids fall, what's our first thing that we do? You're fine.
Yay!
Yeah, you're fine. Shake it off. Be like good old Tay Tay.
Yeah.
By the way, she's engaged, which
I know.
I'm
That's
so
exciting.
excited. Squirrel moment right there, but I had to mention it. But we say, good job, dust it off, shake it off, whatever it might be. But now, the downfall to that, which I think that as educators or parents, we don't see when my son gets hurt, we don't know.
Yeah.
When he falls, he's just like, okay. Next thing we know, we see like, he's bleeding somewhere because
Yeah.
so there is that downfall where we are verbalizing and showing incorrect things. So it's like that balance. Like, I mean, you probably had those moments, right?
Oh, yeah, when I broke my wrist at work.
Mm,
I did end up so the kids love to be around your legs and you
yeah.
can't move. So they were all like tackling me at my legs. And then it got to the point where I lost my balance and it was either try to catch myself or fall on a kid. So I tried to catch myself, broke my wrist. I knew it almost instantly. I continued with my day, but I did say things like, let's be gentle. Miss Courtney has a boo boo. But I also didn't like go into the corner and scream as loud as I wanted to because I didn't want them to think that was the appropriate response when they get a little boo boo.
Yes. I understand that because I think it also plays into boundaries when we talk about toxic positivity as educators, because we want children to be able to regulate their emotions, show that there's bad days. But then on the flip side, we can't show that we've had a bad day.
Yeah.
I remember it was in one of the kindergarten classes and all the kids, it was just a full moon holiday random act, and it was a bad day, and kids knew it because the next morning I had these 2 little girls, they come up to me and they hand me an iced coffee, and they
Oh,
said, "This is because your coffee didn't work yesterday."
that's
Because
really
that
sweet.
was, my thing, I would like, if I was in a bad mood, then I would just say, "You know what? My coffee's not working for
Yeah.
me." Like, so they brought me a coffee
That's
because it
sweet.
didn't work.
That is sweet.
Yes. I think I still have a picture of that somewhere because it was hilarious. They were just ever so sweet about it.
Oh.
I know.
That's another hard one too. If you have a lot going on in your personal life, and
Mhm.
if you take the moment to walk away from the classroom and cry, but if admin catches you, all of a sudden you need to go on a walk, and it's like,
Mm,
"No, I've collected myself, I'm fine. That's why I'm leaving the bathroom." They're like, "Nope, go on a walk, come back when you're calm. The kids can't see you crying."
you know, I had one boss at one of the schools I taught at. She was the principal and she was phenomenal. She was one of my favorite principals I ever worked for. And when she knew you were having a bad day, she would sit in the class for you, but then also she would allow you to like talk about it, like saying, "Hey, what's going on? Do you
Yeah.
need to bitch about it for a moment? Let's bitch." And I think that's why like when I noticed one of you all having a bad day, I would ask y'all about it. "Hey,
Yeah, you
do
were
you
really
need
good
a
about
moment
it.
to talk about it?"
I think that's what got you and I so close, because at the place we were working at, it was like my 1st or 2nd week, the owner called me and told me that she wanted me to go to the secondary location, not the preschool, the other
The
one. I'm
other
trying
one.
not to get specific,
Yep.
and I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know. I was like, that seems like a lot of pressure." And you and I went into the office and we talked about it. We made a pro con list. Thank you, Gilmore Girls. Um, and I was like, "Oh, she's not like admin that's gonna push me to do something I don't wanna do because somebody higher than her thinks it's better.
Yep.
She's gonna listen to what I need and help me through it." And I think that's when I decided, "Oh, she's my friend."
Because there's moments that, again, I was shown that by a boss, and I was like, "You know what? That's something that I want to really instill,
Mhm.
is that I'm gonna give you those moments." I think one of the hardest being in that position was what happened to my son.
Yeah.
And, to fill everyone in, I was because I was in a management position and I helped manage the 3 locations, and the director of that school was out to eat, so I was just sitting at the counter, and I was looking at, like, making my notes or whatever, and looking at the security cameras, and I noticed something, and I saw my son get up because he was still a little bit new and trying to figure it all out.
Also not walking it.
Not walking yet, no, and, the teacher snatched him, not picked him up, snatched him and slammed him down. I then saw red at that point
Yeah.
because I was working and I'm also a mom, going through divorce, very a toxic divorce,
Yeah.
and going through custody and doing all that, and then I saw that, and another teacher came in and I had to call her over and I was like, "I need you to watch this because I don't know if I saw exactly what I saw." Well, she confirmed it, and when the director came back, she watched it, and meanwhile, I'm shaking. Like, I am full on shaking, about to go beat an ass and lose my job.
Yeah.
But it was that fine line of, I need my job. Like,
Mhm.
I have to put food on my table. Well, we long story short, the woman ends up getting fired on the spot.
Yeah.
It was at that moment where the other boss, the secondary boss, the one, um, who liked to hang around me, um, I straight up told him, I was like, "I am in no position to be here the rest of the day minding after the teachers and minding after the kids. I grabbed my son and I left for the rest of the day. I didn't care if he was pissed off, but I was in no position to sit there.
No, and it was good that you recognized that too.
Oh, yeah, because I would have caught a charge
Yeah.
easily.
I mean, it's a good thing I wasn't working there at the time.
No, you weren't. This was what, right before you.
Yeah, right before.
And so I think that was one of the hardest moments trying to balance those emotions because I am not afraid to defend for my son, like, at all.
Mhm.
But when you're going through when you have to put food on the table, when you have to pay your bills, when, you're not getting that support on the outside, I had to keep my job.
Yeah.
So, but what I've learned from that is that I will always be a voice, and it doesn't matter for whose kid, my kid, your future kids, or any other kids I talk to one day.
Yeah.
Because I've been a voice for a lot of kids, many, many years. So, it's definitely you have to shove down your emotions and really take that look at yourself and say, you know what? My emotions can come later. But a lot of that time was such a blur because of the fact of everything going on where my emotional regulation was not there
Right.
because of some of the drama that was happening. That
Another episode.
another episode, different podcast.
I do wanna say, though, on the flip side, um, you saying that you can feel your emotions later, I think that places should also let you know that if you absolutely need to feel your emotions, you can. There was an incident where one of my coworkers, this is after you left, but you know about this incident,
Hmm.
locked herself in the office and tried to do something you can't undo.
Yep. I remember you talking to me about that.
Yeah. I had to be the one to help her, but she was so worried she was gonna lose her job because she was so overwhelmed with outside things, and she had to leave the classroom because it was becoming too much, and then everybody was looking for her and not knowing what she was doing, and luckily, I got to her, but I feel like, if you were there, you would have recognized it and you would
Mhm.
have, before she even made her way to the office, been able to talk to her. I felt like after you left, we didn't get a ton of that anymore.
No, because that support went right out the window. There was only care about hiring cheap and
Yeah.
raising prices.
Yeah.
That was the goal, and I really did try to be a voice for you all, and I think that's why there was some progress that was made. Because, again, the one boss that liked to hang around me, I could shoot it straight and be like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
here's what I'm hearing." And but that was an interesting situation because after I left and then things got more uncomfortable for my son and I pulled my son, again, balancing that emotions when I sent that email of saying, "Hey, I am not returning. My son is not returning." Because that was and then they hid my son's stuff and refused to give it back to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can do a whole episode on that place. That's
I think we will. Um,
Yeah, we probably will.
but back to the emotions, the little emotions, the big emotions. Um, I do want to ask something kind of funny. Whether it's in the classroom or at home, what was one of the funniest things that a child has had a meltdown about that you had to be like, I can't laugh. I need to help them through this? Like, whether it was, they wanted the red cup, but you gave it to little Johnny, and now they need a blue cup, and it's just meltdown central.
Um, I could probably give one from home and one from my experience. Back in the kindergarten classroom, I remember this. It was very, very clicky, even in kindergarten, very, very clicky,
Yeah.
which I don't know how, but it was. And we didn't like it. We tried to
3-year-olds
stop
too.
it. Yeah, like we tried to stop it. But anyways, 2 of the girls in one of the cliques. And now granted, it was only like 4 little girls in this little clique. 2 of the girls got mad at the other 2. Then all of a sudden, it was like over like the silliest thing, and all of a sudden, they were all disinvited from everybody's birthday party.
That is
And
the
they're all
biggest faux pas.
like running up to me, like crying, like full blown ugly tears, like what we do because they got disinvited to the birthday parties. And I was like, sweetie, it is like October. Your birthday's not until June. Like, it's okay.
You'll make up by then.
You'll be fine. What can we do? Like, we need to be like Elsa, let it go. You're fine. So it was always moments like that that made me laugh because I'm like, man, I would love to have meltdowns like that
And for it to be okay.
and for it to be okay.
I have literally looked at my lead teacher before as a child as having a meltdown and been like, if I do this, I would get fired. But I would love to have a meltdown like this.
Yes, yes. Now at home, let's see. Oh, this happened, we got a cat a little bit ago, the
Mhm.
Viscount. Um, Now Viscount Meowtony of House Whiskerton.
His full government name.
Yes, his full government name. He's a kitten, he's a baby. And my son,
He's also still learning.
he's also still learning. They're both learning. Well, they love to be all up in each other's bubbles. Well, of course, with a kitten, you're gonna get bit, you're gonna get scratched if you're up in the bubble. Well, I hear, "Mama! Mama!" And I was like, "What's going on?" And, he's, "Viscount bite me, Viscount scratch." He said, "Call Gaga," which is my mom. "Call Gaga." So, and he's like forcefully like handing me my phone, like, and I'm like, "Okay,
Get on
I'll
it,
call
lady.
Gaga. I don't know what she's gonna do." And he gets on the phone with her, and he's, like, full, like, ugly crying now, and she's, like, trying to calm him down, and he's like, "Viscount bite, Viscount scratch," and then you hear him go, "Gaga, come take him." Stops ugly crying, and he has dead serious face, and he turns and looks at Viscount, and he goes, "Viscount, bye-bye. Gaga's coming." No, that's not how we
Not
do
how it works.
it. So, yes, he had a meltdown, and he tried to give away our
That's
cat.
so funny. Didn't even try to sell him. Was just gonna give him for
Oh,
free.
yeah, no, and he straight up told Viscount, like, "Gaga's coming, like, it's done, it's over."
So I'd
Oh,
say one of my stories, I had a very emotional class. 3 is a hard age. They're full-blown teenagers. They are having all the feelings, and they don't know how to tell you what they are. It was, maybe, like, 30 minutes before nap time, so everybody's a little extra cranky. But one of my kids goes potty, and I tell him, "All right, wash your hands." So he washes his hands, and then he comes out and grabs a paper towel and dries his hands, and he throws it away, and he looks at me. I said, "What's up, buddy?" And he just starts bawling. I said, "What happened?" He said, "I didn't want to dry them, and now they're dry."
no, that's what happened.
I said, "Okay, but you don't want to go and play with wet hands?" And he said, "Yes, I did. I wanted to make mud."
Well, that is very important. Mud making is a very valuable life skill.
Yes, so we did get a little cup of water so he could make his mud, but then I did explain to him, afterward, you are going to have to wash your hands before nap. And we agreed that would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But making mud is important also.
All the sensory.
All the sensory. Oh, I know it really makes you. So, what would you say would be a time that you really struggled with your emotions
Like in general,
in the
or
class?
okay, so again, back to 3-year-olds being very emotional.
Hmm.
It was just one of those days where everything was making everybody cry, and there was
Yep.
no rationalizing with any of them. And we tried all the tricks. We tried Elsa. We tried Baby Shark. We tried The Floor is Lava. We tried we tried everything. And it got to the point that everybody is on their 3rd or 4th meltdown, and it's not even 10 a.m. And I look at my lead teacher, and she looks at me, and we just nod. And then she leaves for a minute, comes back, I leave for a minute, I have my little cry, and then I get it together, and I was like, "Alright,
Crying bathroom. Yes.
that me in that bathroom, all the tears."
All the tears. See, I used The Office.
I didn't have that privilege.
I know, I did. I cried in The Office multiple occasions. Oh, I mean, it's weird to think about, because we have to sit and, in a sense, try and regulate our emotions by count. Anyways, I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking now. Co-regulation, that's what. We have to co-regulate. Not only we have to be able to regulate these humans that are learning, and at the same time, while trying to process our own emotions.
Yeah.
Because even as an adult, half the time, I don't know what I'm feeling. I just
No.
kinda drink the coffee and do the things.
Drink the coffee and hope I can do the things.
That is important. But it it is some of those moments that really help you understand where other teachers are coming from or where other kids are coming from, because a lot of times if you take those approaches of screaming let it go, or blowing out the mad, or we had one kindergarten class where we would do yoga, and yes, the kids would scream at each other that they're not finding their namaste. But it really gave these children more grounding techniques, and
Mhm.
I think even when teachers start the year with their training and stuff, none of that is taught. We're just
No,
expected to know these things. So I think if there were more trainings on how different grounding techniques, not only for the kids, but for us as adults, I think
that
that
would
can
be
help
helpful.
balance a lot, because then you're going to be able to understand kids better. Um, Especially when I went back to be an art teacher at the same school that I was a kindergarten teacher. And this was years later. So all my kindergarten babies were fifth grade babies now.
Oh, wow.
And we had what we called our special friends. And I remember the teacher was like, "Oh, you probably remember this special friend. Just send them back to my classroom if you have any problems." And I was like, "No, that's not gonna happen." And I never had a problem with them at all when I was their art teacher, because they know I was gonna listen to them.
Yeah.
Like, the one day, one of them was like, "Hey, I'm feeling a little bit mad here. Do you have anything I can help you with?" And I was like, "You can check the markers to see if any of them are, like, dried out." And he goes, "Okay." And so that's what he needed at that moment, and their homeroom teacher was shocked that I never sent any of them back, because I met them where they were, especially with their emotions, especially if they were higher maintenance friends who got mad more easily, but I met them where they were.
Yeah, that's important.
Yes, it's not taught. It's not, we wanna face anger with anger rather than anger and understanding.
Yeah.
We're the adults. Why are we getting mad at children who don't understand their emotions?
That is something I did have to, when 15 kids are having full-blown meltdowns and I'm getting frustrated, I would have to remind myself, like, they don't know.
Yep,
They they
you don't.
they might not have any clue why they're upset, and
No.
that is valid.
Yeah. My son, he's learning all the emotions, so now he'll just go around going, insert name, mad. I'm like, "You're mad?" "No." "So why are you telling me that you're—" Or, like, if I'm, like, trying to put a little bit of pep, he yelled at he told on me to Gaga the other
Of
few.
course.
Yeah, like, what did I do? But he wasn't getting his shoes on, he was having a lot of squirrel moments, so finally I put some pep in my voice and I'm like, "Get your shoes on." He goes up and he goes, "Gaga, mama mad." And my mom was like, "Well, did you get your shoes on?" He She's like, "Mama's not mad, but did you listen and get your shoes on?" "No, mama mad." So, yes, that is being able to identify and really, but it goes to show that they don't know what these emotions are.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say there were times, like, I'd be in the bathroom doing diaper changes, and, like, I would just have, like, my focused face or maybe my resting bitch face, I don't know. But, like, I wouldn't be upset or anything, I'm focused on the task at hand, and the
Yes.
kids would come up and be like, "Why are you not happy?" I'm like, I'm happy." "No, you look mad, maybe sad. You're not happy." I'm like, "No, I am." I said, "You don't always have to smile to be happy."
Yep.
I'm just focused right now. And then it came into, well, what's focused? Now I got to explain that.
Yep. That's, it's trying to speak on their level.
Yeah.
And I think that can be hard sometimes of trying to explain. I apologize. My cat was doing something. Um, on getting down to their level. And it's being able, one thing I will say that really helped me to be able to speak at different levels almost at the same time was when I was teaching martial arts. I would have as young as 5 and as old as, I think, in their 60s, all different kids and adults into one class.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, like, sit and only talk the way I would talk with 5-year-olds
Right.
versus to a 60-year-old. Like, gonna make me sound like a bitch. So I really had to learn how to incorporate so many different facets into communication styles.
hmm
And I think that's really helped with the rest of my career within education,
hmm
because I was able to help not only kids understand, but also the teachers
Yeah.
while working with both. Because I don't know if you ever noticed when I'm like, whenever I would come into the classroom and I'm playing with kids, but then also talking to you all, it's that finding that balance
Yeah.
of being able to talk to both at the same time and both are understanding and nobody thinks that I'm talking down to them.
Right. Which is a hard balance.
It is. Like, it is very, very hard, but it's I would definitely recommend those skills,
Belt.
especially moving past that educational career and into normal careers. Because, like, right now, I talk with people all over the world.
hmm
So being able to switch up those tones, because every country, one thing I notice is that all the tones are gonna be different. All the dialects are gonna be different.
Right.
And I really think that's where education and working with kids and adults and everybody from all over the face of the world, it has really become a strong point to be able to manage those communication balances.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
So
all she wrote, folks.
what is one thing you want people to take away from this episode?
Learn to regulate your emotions. Know that it's okay. Where you're gonna be mad. You're gonna have bad days, but also take that step back and understand and know that these miniature humans, that's what they are, miniature humans,
hmm
have zero idea. They haven't learned it yet. Don't assume, because when we assume, what happens?
You make an ass out of you and me.
Yep. And yeah, that's what I would say is
I
don't
think
assume.
something I want people to take away from this is that even if your entire classroom is having a full-blown meltdown, you're still doing it right, as
Yep.
long as you are keeping it together and not
Put
screaming
it
at them.
put it in the fucking bucket for that moment
Yeah.
and then unpack it later.
Also, it is okay to need a minute to walk away.
Yes, it is.
It is okay, no matter how admin might make you feel about it.
It's
In
okay.
in the long run, it'll be better for everybody.
Your emotions matter.
Yes.
It's like you have to it's like that movie Inside Out. You have those little things in your head.
Yep.
It's okay to regulate them. I mean, mine's that little orange guy
Say
inside, but it's okay to take that minute.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say that is the end of the podcast. We now have a podcast website. It's podpage.com/things teachers really say. You can check out our socials there as well as our episodes. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Now let me stop recording.
You gotta keep that in.